I tell y'all what's on my mind?
He was slice and dice.
Can I get a couple of things off my chest?
Man, what's up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but it can't be your son, it's your kinfolk, William Jewell. Listen to my detail as I'm articulating. This is articulating. Right. How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on all the notifications so you can get all the new content when I post them, and you can hear it and you can listen and you can get some of this wisdom and you can get some of this game, you can get some of this articulation. This is William Jewell. Well, giving you my detail as I'm articulating. This is articulating. Rap. Now, but man, this was a good week if you were grown up. Right? This was a good week if you're an adult in hip hop. This was a good week if you have a mature mindset. This is a good week if you've seen the 90s in their golden era. If you've seen the early 2000s in their shine. If you've seen the 2010s. If you've seen the 2020s come to fruition. This is a good time in hip hop because we have two of our legends. Albeit a white man who came in the game with blonde hair and blue eyes. A bald man, light-skinned, named Lonnie. Goes by the name of Common. Used to be Common Sense from the neighborhood of Chi-Town. Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers. Also from the Midwest region, Detroit, Michigan. This is a good time to hear some of our legends. This is a good time to open your ear. If you're in the 30-plus era, I'm sure that this was a good weekend for hip-hop for you, because for me, I was able to listen. I was able to sit down. I was able to pay attention. I was able to calm my nerves and give this music a listen. And damn it, Slim Shady, I hope you don't die. I hope this was a false sense of security. I hope this was a Tupac situation where you faked your death. Because we don't need you to die, because this is the Marshall Mathers. This is the Slim Shady. This is the Eminem that we've been waiting for all these years. And I know you've grown. I know you've evolved. I know there's been evolution in Eminem. But the way that he attacked these type of situations, the way he attacked these topics, the way that he attacked these people, the way that he attacked the handicaps, the way he attacked the mentally challenged, the way that he attacked those fat people, the way that he attacked women, the way that he attacked children, it stirs up the controversy that Eminem would bring to us when Slim Shady first came out. 1 punch 9-inch nails in each one of my eyelids. My brain's that way, and I'm trying to get my head straight, but I can't figure out with Spice Girl I want to impregnate. Like when he was name dropping, he wants Megan and Nicki Minaj to SZA. When he was name dropping Kendrick Lamar album, it was cool, but it didn't have any bangers. You said you want to might delete later, didn't like the beats. Said Ye and Wayne's album was lamer. Which one? Right? Because he kind of browsed across all of the subjects. And he talked about what's missing in hip hop. He talked about the over criticism that each rapper receives. He talked about the Gen Z looking down on him. He talked about not giving a fuck about what these people want to say, what the media wants to depict him as, the narrative, right? He talked about not caring. And when I listen to it, I hear Dave Chappelle, the transgenders, the LGBT community going against him. I hear that because one thing I do think that Dave Chappelle did was he set a precedent. He set a trend. Because no matter what Dave Chappelle said, no matter what Dave Chappelle did on those Netflix specials, you could not cancel him. No matter if he talked about transgenders, no matter if he talked about the paraplegic, right? Or paraplegic, like Wayne would say. But no matter what, I feel like Dave Chappelle did it because of the blowback that Kevin Hart got from the Oscars. Right? And Dave Chappelle made it a mission to let people know this is just comedy. This is nothing more than that. And I think Eminem did the same thing. This is just jokes. This is not for you to take this serious. But everybody got their panties in a bunch. Everybody got their assholes tight. Everybody are so sensitive. Oh, why did you say that? How could you say that? We don't need to support you anymore. We should counsel you. But Slim Shady, you got to think about his fan base. He came in the game saying the F word. Right? He came in the game being controversial. Right? He came in the game, doing some off the wall stuff, saying things that people wouldn't expect a rapper to say, being animated. And I believe he wanted to show his teeth on this album. I believe he wanted to show that he's that same guy deep down. But with the council culture, he's been walking on eggshells. With the council culture, he's been trying to walk through that maze, trying to get to the finish line, but there's so many corners to turn. There's so many different paths. He's trying to get rap back to where it was. And Kendrick stated this in Mr. Morale. Like, when you rapping, you shouldn't give a fuck what nobody say. Because this is rap. Don't let the media, don't let the masses, don't let the corporate tank this purity. And some people might be like, what's pure about it? If you're talking about these people that are underrepresented, if you're talking about these people that don't have support, if you're bullying, if you're making fun of these people, then that should not be a voice. That should be canceled out. But we're talking about having the voice of freedom. We're talking about the First Amendment. We're talking about speaking how you want to speak. Right? And not worrying about these bots on X, not worrying about everybody on social media following that groupthink, because we know that's not real life. I believe Eminem did a good job. I believe the production was there. I believe Dr. Dre did a hell of a job. And I don't know who was all on the production. The Brand New Dance. He talked about Christopher Reeves. This was a song that was supposed to be on the Encore album in 2004, and he didn't release it because that was the year that Christopher Reeves died. He basically showed you that he had compassion for that man. But he also wanted to entertain the people and do what he does as Slim Shady, do what he did as Eminem. So I'm glad he gave us that. Guilty Conscience 2, you could tell he was at war with himself. He was at war with Marshall Mathers, trying to keep a pristine image, and Slim Shady just wanting to say whatever he wanted to say because it was just jokes. It was just entertainment. And he was being tormented by the pills. He was being tormented by all the traumas that he was going through in his childhood. JID Fuel. Oh my God. I believe that would be verse of the year. Then we talk about habits. Like that first 8-track run. Oh my God, man. That first 8-track run was something spectacular. That first 8-track run. The Renaissance, the Habits, Trouble, Brand New Dance. You got into Evil, Lucifer, Antichrist, Fuel, Road Rage. Just that first. Then you go to Houdini, right? That 8-track run, that first 9 tracks of the album. Oh my God. And that's when he really captivated us. That's when he really got us attention. And then not only did he talk about the controversy, not only did he peel the layers back on certain things, and he talked about the council culture, and he talked about how people view things now in this era, but he put on a clinic lyrically. He put on a clinic with the metaphors. He put on a clinic with the similes, right? He even got into a juvenile flow. Oh my fucking God. He changed the beat, switched the beat, and got into that juvenile 400 degrees flow, man. Like, he gave you the flows. He gave you the metaphors. He gave you that literary device in damn near each song, right? And he just showed you his greatness. Can he be top 5? Can he be top 10? Can he be your number 1? Tobey Maguire got beat by a spider. Me? It was a goat. That hook, I didn't like that. But, you know, I get what they was trying to say. And Baby Tron, you did sound like Big Sean. Okay? Let's put that to the side. But I believe Eminem did what he was supposed to do. The production was there. Right, the lyrics are there, the clinic, the flow, like everything he did from top to bottom, the skits, the conceptual album, and how he laid out each track. This is Grammy Award winning stuff. This is artistic. This is, you know, abstract art. This is something that, you know, can be in the Louvre, can be in a museum. This is something that Kendrick Lamar has done and done so well. And that's why he paid homage to Kendrick. That's why he paid homage to Wayne and Ye. That's why he paid homage to J. Cole. And if Royce the 5'9" wasn't on this album, if J. Cole wasn't on this album, which he was rumored to be, like a kinfolk of mine said, I'm sure we can expect them in that deluxe version. And definitely will cut up on the spins even more. So shout out to Eminem. Shout out to a GOAT in his own right, the white GOAT. You know what I'm saying? For sure that, you know, he definitely opened up the ways for a lot of white rappers, you know what I'm saying, and just showed the example of how to do it and just how to be a brother, how to be an ally in the hip hop game without trying to, you know, I guess be too poppy or just be too annoying to the others that are trying to exist in this. And then we talk about Common. We talk about the Auditorium. Common and Pete Rock, the Auditorium Volume 1. We talk about that grown man hip hop. We talk about a man just talking about being a man just talking about the faith, the destiny, the hope, just being a black man in America and trying to elevate himself, right? And trying to stand on that pedestal and stand tall, trying to be on that platform and receive that gold medal. Somebody that's trying to show you with his an example, trying to show you with the words that he's displaying, trying to show you what it's like to be a man, what it's like to uplift women, what it's like to care for your brothers, what it's like to be a pillar in your community that people can depend on, what it's like to shine your light bright. Common, Pete Rock. This was a music of substance. Nothing of toxicity, nothing of poison, nothing that could harm the community, nothing that could take us astray, nothing that could take us off of our route, but something to keep us focused, something to keep us paying attention, something to keep our eyes on the prize, something to keep that glimmer of light in our eyes, something to keep us with our head up and our chest out. No sweetness, because we're from the salt. To be a king, to be one of royalty, to be a brother of loyalty, to be iron that sharpens iron, to be a man that the ladies love but also respect, to be a man that is uplifting his queen, that's protecting his queen. Common, you gave us that adult knowledge, you gave us that grown man music, and I could not turn my back on that. I cannot turn a blind eye to what you did for hip-hop today, Pete Rock. You're going to give us these samples? You're going to give us this type of boom bap music? You're going to give us this type of sonically perfection? Pete Rock, who are you? Said someone that produced on Illmatic. Pete Rock. I think we need to look up that name because he also put on the clinic in the production lane. And then he dropped the verse. Right? On All Ideas. Come on, Pete Rock. You gave us that heat rock. You gave us that sheet rock. Something that we could build walls and protect ourselves with from the bullshit because you gave us that production that a lot of people can't give us. You gave us that purity of hip-hop. You gave us that pure, undiluted, that pristine image of hip-hop through your production and the way that Common was skipping rocks on your beat, the way that Common floated on your beats like he was on the magic carpet of Aladdin, like Common was on cloud 9, laying back with the hump on the cloud as his pillow. Common, you floated, brother. You levitated. Right? You look like you was risen from the dead because these last albums that you released was not it. They were dead. They were not alive. But something that Pete Rock did gave you a spark. Something that Pete Rock did on this production. And could it be Jennifer Hudson on the hooks? Could it be PJ? Oh my God, PJ, everything is grand. Oh my God, your voice is so heavenly, so heaven sent, just so beautiful. Right? And for Common to do what he did on this project, what he did on this record, what he did on this album, it deserves our attention. Like, damn, we in the middle. We right in the thick of things in 2024. And Pete Rock, Common, and Eminem are going to give us these type of albums? Think about what the rest of the year could be. Think about what Kendrick Lamar could do. Black Hippie, TDE. Think about what Drake might do. Right? Just think about what Smino might do. What J.I.D. might do. Just think about what Big Crit might do. Oh my God. This year is turning out to be a year for the ages. It's turning out to be a year for hip-hop to elevate into that new stratosphere. To fly like birds of a prey flocking together. Swoop down on its prey, the listeners, and give them that meat and give them that food for thought. I believe hip-hop, this is your year 2024 and Donald Trump. Damn it, brother. Because when I say brother, it's like Hulk Hogan saying brother. Right? It's a black man saying bro, but a white man saying brother. And so we acknowledge brother because that's the American communication as friends, as brothers, right? And I say brother Donald Trump, or should I say Teflon Don, because I was afraid for you. I feared for your life. You was out there speaking on the platform. Even though sometimes your speeches have given a lot of racist groups a rise, right? Even though your speeches have given a lot of communities and groups and members of these groups a rise to commit hateful acts, to commit insurrections, to, bomb rush the Capitol. Even though what you've said before has damn near caused a riot, but what you were saying on that platform, what you were saying on that podium, that wasn't supposed to kill you. Because just like Eminem, Marshall Mathers had freedom of speech, you had freedom of speech. But you had influence, and you could make people, you could incite violence, you could incite these people to do some things. But that's not for us to say whether you should live or you should die. That's only for God to say, and God said it wasn't your turn, brother. Right? God said it wasn't going to be you. Right? And one thing about the people that overcome the adversity, one thing about the people that are able to dodge the bullets that are meant for them, that have their name on it. One thing about the people that are able to get out the way of the coup de grace, the kill shot. You know what I'm saying? We have a different respect level for them, for surviving. Right. One thing about survivors, we think about America. We think about the community of the black people. We are survivors. We think about how we was able to become the nation that we were able to become with the British trying to enforce their rules on us. We think about the survivors. We think about the people that came here on the Mayflower, Christopher Columbus. We think about the survivors. Okay, I know what y'all gonna say, black folk. I know what y'all gonna say. Right? This is colonizer behavior. This is the settlers, crucifying the Indians and running rampage on their lands. But the land is here now. We can't turn back now. And the people that survived, they've always been written down in history. The people that have survived have always been revered. And we saw this with our own eyes, people. We saw Donald Trump get shot on the side of the head, fall down and get up and hold his fist in power. We saw that. And we can't unsee it because that fist, he didn't salute, right? He didn't stand up like Superman with his arms to the side. He didn't stand with his, he held up his fist. He held up black power. That's a symbol of black power. That's a symbol of power. That's a symbol that we've been carrying on so long in this country. And Trump held it up. And we can't unsee that. Right? And we see all the memes, we see all the photos on Twitter, all the Photoshop stuff. We see the 50 Cent, many man was death upon me. We see the Neo in the Matrix. We see all those things. But one thing we've seen is the FBI, right? Quid pro quo. One thing we've seen is the government with the assassinations of Martin Luther King, with the assassinations of Malcolm X, Medgar Evers. One thing we've seen is all of our black leaders, all of our real leaders of the free world being put down with bullets, being put down with violence. And the fact that that shooter was able to get into that spot with all the Secret Service around, with all the security around in 2024, right? That says something about, what the government can do, right? And it's a reason why a lot of us Americans don't trust our government. It's a reason why we don't listen to what the media says, and we're always thinking about the conspiracy theories. It's a reason why. Because you mean to tell me that this man who was a former president, with all the security detail, everything, bells and whistles to the T, he could get shot out? He could get shot at. He could almost get killed. But the thing is, he didn't get killed. And God saw fit that he lived. Right? And for the fact that people attempted to kill him. Right? A man that got killed. We don't even know. I don't even want to speak his name. I know his name. I ain't going to say his name. I ain't going to give him that credit. But a man that got killed himself. Thing is, like, when the government does some things, and the government have killed people on purpose, we know they either trying to hide some things or they trying to prevent, being exposed. And I believe Trump is somebody that can expose the government. Like, it don't matter what you want to think. It don't matter who you think is the best candidate, because I really feel like none of these candidates are the greatest option for us, because they're men damn near. One is damn near in his 80s and one is 82, and he's lost all of his wits. He looks like an empty body with barely a soul, barely a flicker in himself. But the thing is, why are they doing this? Why? And you got to ask yourself why. What can Trump do? What can Trump say? And they've done everything to crucify him. They've done everything to eliminate him. But all his star does is grow bigger and grow louder. right? And he doesn't even, if you really listen, he don't even have to say what he used to say to, get the followers to follow him. He don't gotta be hateful. He don't gotta be bigot. He don't gotta be racist. He don't gotta grab him by the pussy. He don't gotta say, I would tell him to stand back and stand by. He don't even really gotta do that. He said, I wouldn't even be running. I don't even want to run, but it's because you're in office, I have to run. Because I got to make sure that you're not here. And so, I mean, shit. I feel like you got to look at it how you want to look at it. Right? You can look at a conspiracy of, damn, the government tried to have Trump killed, or did Trump try to play this, you know what I'm saying, to get more people to believe in him, to get to more people to follow him? I don't know. But God damn it, this does make him look good because he survived. And so at the end of the day, what can we say? What can we do? But thank God that he didn't get killed, and somebody got killed. A couple of people got wounded, I believe. But man, prayers to the family, prayers to everybody involved. Thank God nobody was, you know what I'm saying? I know one person got killed, but it was a group of a lot of people. And so just thank God that everybody else was able to make it out all right. But Tyler Perry. And before we get to Tyler Perry, I guess we got to talk about Megan Good. I guess we got to talk about the hug heard around the world. We got to talk about how Michael Ealy picked up Megan Good on a hug with her man around. Right? And people was like, damn, that couldn't be me. I would have had to set that shit off. I would have had to set that shit straight. I would have had to act in a certain manner. And I believe that's off impulse. That's off no control. I mean, because you got to think about what Jonathan Majors is facing. You got to think about how the media looks at him, the narrative behind him. He's violent, right? Because he got charged with a violent crime, although it was a crime where he basically was defending himself, and a person that got assaulted, they got a reckless assault, meaning they basically got hurt because he was trying to defend himself. And that's what they charged him with ultimately. And so a man that's with Megan Good, the goddess that Megan Good is, the loving woman that Megan Good is, the beautiful, the talented Megan Good that's been one of those ladies in our community that everyone has looked at for years as one of their crushes. From the cousin Skeeter to getting ice cream off Friday, right? Just to being who she is, those lips, and even those sharp eyebrows, and just that six pack, that small part of her back. She's fit, she's sexy, she's healthy, she's in her 40s, and she looks 20 something. Right? Megan Good. She stood by Jonathan Majors when he was going through everything. And why would he, destroy all of that because a man picked her up? So at the end of the day, you kind of got to think about what position he's in. Then you got to think about the position of Megan Good. This is Hollywood. She's worked with Michael Ealy on multiple movies. They have some familiarity with each other. Like, they was excited to see each other, and albeit I believe she did get caught up in the moment. I mean, the only thing she could do was just hold her way down and be like, no, nigga, don't pick me up. But, I mean, she'd allowed it to happen. But ultimately, I believe the blame is on Michael Ealy just not knowing his place, just not knowing that space. And probably he didn't give a fuck. They said on the other edit, he did greet Jonathan Majors. On the edit they showed, he greeted Megan Good and then everybody else, and they took a picture. And it's just like the media to, show clips of a certain narrative. Some people say it doesn't matter if he greeted him first. And I believe it does matter. I believe it does matter. Because if you greet me first and then y'all hug each other with that excitement, I know y'all haven't seen each other long time, I know that y'all good friends. And if I know that y'all good friends, she's told me y'all were good friends. You know what I'm saying? So I know what you mean to her. And I know what you mean to black culture. Michael Ealy, he's on Power. Ghost. You know, Power Book 2. Michael Ealy's been in so many black movies. Like, we know what you mean to the culture and we appreciate you. And, you know, at the end of the day, you got to play the politics. And some of these niggas ain't got control. Some of these niggas don't know how to control their temper. Some of these niggas don't know how to control their anger. But Michael Ealy, at the end of the day, you know, he could be a plug in the industry because just think about when him and Megan Good's relationship is over. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably not going to be married. They probably going to have some time together. But if this is a superficial relationship, they're not gonna be together long. So ain't no point in him acting up. And then on top of that, think about his image. Because I'm Team Johnny Majors. I'm gonna be biased. I'm Team Johnny Majors, and I feel like he played it off right. Played it like he really didn't care. Played it. You know what I'm saying? He looked awkward, but I feel like he was comfortable in the mayhem. And I feel like everybody made it seem a certain way. Was it an appropriate way to hug a man's girl? I mean, no, but they've been together for a short amount of time. And you know, as you're getting together with a person, it's certain things that they might not know you don't like. And they don't know you don't like these things until these things present themselves in real time. So that could be a conversation that they have in real time. So I mean, you want to make sure that you have these relationships, these connections in the industry, especially when you're at the bridge that you are almost burning down, but you're walking through the flames, you're walking through the fire unscathed. And I wouldn't say unscathed, you got a couple of burns, but you're trying to get across to the other side. And I believe that's Jonathan Majors. He's walking on a tightrope. You know, he can't black out and say something and do something crazy because then we gonna believe everything that white girl said about him. And then on top of that, he gets to preserve those relationships. Michael Ealy, he gets to preserve those relationships. Megan Good, even if things don't end well between them, you know, things will be okay if they don't burn the bridge. He can always tap back into her because Megan Good came to him, you know, at a time where he was at his lowest. So it doesn't matter if his stock was falling. It doesn't matter if he was on a down slide, you know, but Megan Good was there to hold him up at his lowest moment. And man, we can't take that for granted. And at the end of the day, if you held me up at my lowest moment, who am I to bark at you? Who am I to get on your ass about hugging a man in public? You know what I'm saying? Because everything else you've done for me, you know, at this point has been very crucial for the second part of my career going forward. And for me to show my ass and for me to act off impulse, off urge is not intelligent. Jonathan Majors went to Yale. He's a smart man. He's an intelligent man. He know how to conduct himself. He know how to not act like a nigga. Right? And all we hear on social media is niggas trying to tell a black man, intelligent man, a man that's smart, how to be a nigga. And that ain't gonna fly. That ain't gonna help him to get to where he wanna be. You know what I'm saying? Because you can act like that for the moment, and then at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit you. All it does is hurt you, and you've already been hurt. You've already been on the downslide. So why put yourself in further, you know, failure? Why put yourself in a further predicament because of that? Because we know how that's going to look on the outside looking in. So I believe Jonathan Majors handled it right. He handled it the only way he could handle it. You know what I'm saying? So Megan Good, you did your thing. And you also did your thing in Divorce in the Black. Tyler Perry. Megan Good, she was my favorite actor in the movie. Right? She had the lead part. She produced this movie as well. So some people think she's just an actor in this movie. She produced this movie as well. So she has something with bringing this movie to life. So I think like Megan Good really did her job in this movie. She showed her vulnerability. She showed her sadness. She showed her hurt. She showed pain. She showed her range as an actor. You know what I'm saying? and I believe she did her thing. You know, Corey Hardick, Tia's ex man. I could see why he's her ex man because he was cool, but he wasn't believable to me. You know, he was a light skinned man playing a dark skinned man role. I hate to say it. I hate to bring the colorism into it, but I feel like if it was a Lamar type dude, if it was a Joey badass type dude, and I'm using these dudes because these dudes are the recent villains in some of our most favorite, TV shows. If those guys, I feel like they could get that off. They could give you that look, that give you that belief in what they're committed to. I don't think he was committed to the crazy enough. He had the accent down, but he wasn't committed to the crazy enough. And Tia knew he wasn't crazy. That's why she divorced him and didn't give a damn. So he don't really got that in him. And I believe he tried his best. I believe he put his best foot forward. But I believe it wasn't believable. And so really that's really the only critique. It was way too much drama from the beginning. They got their damn brother out the casket. You know what I'm saying? At the beginning of the movie, she took her clothes off in church. They took their brother out the casket and buried him in their own yard, right where all the Bertrands were at. But I think there was a message that needs to be, looked at in this movie. There was a message that Tyler Perry gave us as black men in this movie. And I don't think it needs to be overlooked. I think a man needs to do that self-reflection. Because when we talk about Ava, right, who is Megan Good's character, and we talk about Corey Hardick, I can't think of the guy, Dallas, right? Dallas. Shout out Dallas, Texas. He played Dallas. When we think about Dallas, he was raised by a single mother. And we talk about men being raised by a single mother, men being a lot more sensitive, a lot more emotional because they can't control their emotions because their mom has always pacified them. Their mom has always, oh, it's going to be okay, baby. It's going to be okay. Right? Their mom has always weakened them by, trying to nurture them too much and not being harsh and not being realistic with them. So a man being raised by a single mother, we see the adverse effects of that in this movie right here. Right? And I believe that showed up. And then you can't get your family involved in your marriage at the end of the day. Right? And Ava did a good job because her mother was surprised about what happened. But we know that his family was always involved in their marriage. His mother was always talking bad about his wife, and he allowed it. He didn't say anything because he was scared of his brothers. He was scared of what they was going to say. And that's another thing, that family influence. You got bad influences. Married men need to hang around married men. Married men don't need to take advice from single men, from a man that don't have a wife, from a man, because he had his friend Jim that was giving him advice, that was giving him the knowledge. And every time Jim told him something, he would not listen. Only thing he would listen to is what his brothers and his mom would say. So we got to take advice from our married friends, not just people who just got an opinion on things that are outside looking in and don't know what it's like, that don't have any credibility. Right? And then you got to think about the power dynamics. Right? And I'm making it short and sweet. You got to think about the power dynamics. Right? Because I've been in this power dynamic. Right? Where the wife or the woman makes more than the man. Right? I've been in it. I know what it's like. And sometimes you feel like your voice isn't as authoritative as it should be. And at the end of the day, we got to accept it. Like, we just can't tell women what to do. Just like we can't tell no person what to do without any logical reason behind it. And a lot of men that get away with telling women what to do because of the money, because of what they have, you know what I'm saying, as their resource, that don't make them a man. Right? At the end of the day, they don't learn from it. They don't become a better person because of it. And then, the woman can't truly be herself. And why would you want a woman to be a shadow of herself like Megan Good was? right? Why would you want a flower to not blossom? Why would you want that seed to not grow into the beautifulest, plant that it could be? Because you chose not to give it rain, to not give it sun, to not really, fertilize it, put it in the right soil. So at the same time, we gotta understand that if your woman is the breadwinner, you can't really just tell her what to do. And maybe you right there with her with the money. You know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all going 50-50. Maybe y'all just doing what y'all gotta do to pay the bills. But at the same time, you can't tell no woman what to do. You shouldn't tell no woman what to do. You got to let her make a decision. And if her decision is to follow you, then that's how you know you a real leader. But if you only able to tell a woman what to do because you got money or because you got fame or because you got status, you know what I'm saying? Or you got age over her, and not because she respects you, not because she follows you, because you're a leader, not because you're a person that somebody should look up to. You know what I'm saying? Not just because you are the person you are, then you got to question the person you are. And he talked about some trauma. She was like, you need to get some help, and he didn't want to address his trauma. So, man, we got to address our trauma. We got to address those things in the past that have held us back, whether it's been daddy issues, whether it's been things that have been done to us or things that we did that we can't forgive ourselves for or feel like that are unforgiven. We got to dig deep because we can't put no woman through that bullshit, man. We can't put these beautiful black women, you know what I'm saying, and women of all races, they're flowers, they're roses. They got thorns. They gon' prick you. They might hurt you. But their beauty, and their majesticness is something to behold. And so we got to uphold them in a way that we got to uphold them. And as men, that's our duty. That's our responsibility. And if it's too heavy on our mind, if it's too heavy on our head, if it's too heavy on our heart, if it's too heavy on our body, we got to address it, whether it be therapy, whether it be self-reflection, or whether it be just looking in. So, you know what I'm saying? That's just something we got to do. And as men, we can't ask for, a lot of help in that. We just got to figure out where we need to go to get the help and get it done. And women, don't lose your best years, right? Megan Good say she gave up her 20s. She almost gave up her 30s being with this man. Know when it's not going to get any better. You kind of got to know. And then, like I said, she didn't tell her family what was going on. And then her family was saying, I wish I would have told you I was proud of you. I wish I would have instilled more confidence in you. I wish I would have really instilled those type of things in you when you was doing good. And I showed you that love that you needed to be shown and give you that power, that confidence to leave when a man wasn't treating you right. And, when we're raising up a young lady, a young woman, we got to instill them with that confidence, with that power, so that they know that a man that's talking to them, that's treating them in a certain way, it's not okay and they should not accept it. And that we're proud of them no matter what they decide to do, because even we talk about the red pill guys, right? We talk about those guys that said women are past their prime in their 26, and she didn't have no kids. So if you're in your prime, woman, you really gotta really think about what's going on, and is it worth it to sacrifice your prime for that man? And look at the trajectory of that man. Is it going up? Is it going down? Like, what is he going to do about himself? And then you really gotta look at it. You know what I'm saying? Because marriage ain't no more about the nigga just saying, this is what we gonna do and we gonna do it, and then he get to do whatever he want to do. This is not the 1970s, 60s, 50s, 30s, 40s no more. This is 2020s. We got to be held accountable. We got to be responsible for our actions, man. We can't tell women to do a certain thing and we're not a leader. We can't tell women to do for us when we're not a servant to them, right? And we can't expect this woman to carry all this weight by herself. We got to show them some love. We got to show them some compassion, and we just got to show them that we're in it together. So, I mean, You stick by your man, but don't stick by your man and lose yourself at the same time. I think Will Smith said this, and this is a crazy example to use, but you got to make yourself happy. Right? You can't look for nobody else you can't look for your partner to make you happy. You got to make yourself happy. And then when you can make yourself happy, then y'all can come together and make each other happy, right? And do good by each other. But if you're looking for that person to make you happy, you're going to be disappointed because they can't do that unless you've done that for yourself. So, man, it was a good weekend for music. It was a good weekend for movies. It was a good weekend for a lot of news. But this your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but it can't be your son as you can't vote. William Jewell. Giving you my detail as I'm articulating. This is articulating. Rap, rap, rap.